Serious people who've had sex with their so/ex/friend's parent. How the hell did you get to that point? What happened after? Attention. Serious tag notice. Jokes, puns, and off-topic comments are not permitted in any comment, parent or child. Parent comments that aren't from the target group will be removed, along with their child replies. Report comments that violate these rules. Posts that have few relevant answers within the first hour, and posts that are not appropriate for the serious tag will be removed. Consider doing an AMA request instead. Thanks for your cooperation and enjoy the discussion. I'm a bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit/message/compose/to/r/uscredit if you have any questions or concerns. Dated a girl for almost a year and thought everything was great. Used to spend lots of time at her house with her and her mother. Everything was beautiful. One weekend she went to New Orleans with friends. A month later she told me she'd met the man of her dreams while she was in New Orleans, and she was moving to Memphis to live with him. A week later she was gone, leaving me in shock. Mom called me a week later and told me that the ex had left a couple of boxes of my stuff, so I went by to pick them up. Started talking to the mom, who was just as in shock about it as I was. Over the next few weeks me and the mom talked a lot about feelings, both being hurt that the daughter had just packed and left both of us. We started talking and texting a lot, especially late at night. Got a message from her late one night asking what I was doing. Jokingly told her I was in bed jerking off. There had been a lot of meaningless sexual comments between me, the ex, and the mom. She asked if I wanted company, and I said always as an automatic throwaway comment, expecting her to laugh. Got no response to that but got a couple of texts about random speak. Then she sent a message that just said I'm here. I was almost in a panic. I never actually thought she was coming over. Let her in, and I was shaking like a high school virgin. I got over that pretty quickly, and 3 minutes later we were in bed making the slowest, most passionate love I'd ever had. It turned into an amazing, almost nightly thing for a couple of months before mom started dating a guy she worked with, and we ended things cheerfully. 20 years later the ex, that I hadn't spoken to since she moved, called me. No hello. Just straight to did you seriously peep my mom? And hear a whole lot of laughter in the background. She was out with her mom and aunt and somehow it had come up. She'd never had a clue. Side note, she is still married to the guy she met, so I guess she might have been right. That where you got your name? Or was that a separate incident? Friend's mom going through some tough times with her husband. Accidentally added one of our friends on Facebook. She started flirting with him, and eventually they peeped. After this kept going on for a couple of months, dude decided to tell his friend's son about it at his house. The son cried. They threw hands at each other and everything was alright moments later. Don't really know what happened after that. Lost contact with both of them. At least it sounds like there was reconciliation. My brother's best friend from high school dated my mom in his 30s. She had my brother really young, when she was barely 15. So when his friend was in his 30s, she wasn't yet 50. I will always remember the night he found out. They fought, and my brother's friend left the house and got into his car. My brother followed him out and punched him in the head through the driver's side window. He managed to go through the window and still connect with enough force to knock him out cold. The real question here is how peeped up was your brother's hand afterwards? It's not exactly easy to punch through a car window. In my late 20s, I had a friend in a small mountain town in the western US. His mom gets separated, moves in with him. She's mildly flirtatious with me, no big deal. Not enough to raise any red flags. Job changes and I move to the city, 90 miles south. He comes on weekends to party a few times. Normal stuff. Then he comes to party and brings her. At her request we have a late night peep fest while he's passed out in the next room. Major violation of bro code by me, but she asked nicely. No surprise we weren't friends after that. Bringing your single mom to a party 90 miles from home where you intend on passing out on the couch. What do you think she was going to do? Knit? I got super peeping drunk at the friend's mother's house. We all did really, but mainly me and the mum. But I'd come as my friend was going through a bit of a tough time, and it was supposed to be a nice surprise. My friend was going to her mum's for a nice night of merriment, and the mum told me I should come to cheer her up, which I agreed was a good idea. Everything started out fine, but as she and I got more drunk, we started kinda flirting, something that had actually happened before when we were both drunk. Then when it was time for everyone to go to bed, I snuck into her mum's room. My friend totally knew, a fact I wasn't aware of until a little while after, but her mum then had to drive me to the train station to go home the next day. What happened after is I, like a complete coward, never apologized, even after I found out my friend knew. And I lost that friend. They deleted me from social media and didn't speak to me for almost 2 years. We did recently reconcile. I sent a long text a couple of months back apologizing and letting my friend know how much I missed them. They then recently reached out because they found out I'm expecting my first baby. I'm very happy to be back in contact with this friend. Tip for everyone: don't sleep with your friend's parents. It's a dick move. But should that ever happen, and you want to keep this friend a friend, own up, apologize, and then give them space. The truth is always better than a lie, and your honesty and apology will be appreciated. Props for owning up and apologizing after so many years. That's a speedy situation, but at least you got to make up with your friend. A good friend of mine had this happen to her back in high school. She caught her also high school aged boyfriend sexting her 40-something-year-old mother, and it led to her mom and her stepdad's divorce. All while she was 17 years old. She still has a strange relationship with her mom to this day. We are 25 now, so this happened almost 10 years ago. I don't think you can ever get over that kind of betrayal by your own mother. I believe she still has a good relationship with her now ex-stepdad though. Her mom is now dating a man her age, but she will always be a predator in my eyes that seduces her daughter's boyfriend. So gross. My friend has a similar story. After graduation, she joined the Air Force US and continued long distance style with her boyfriend she's been with for over a year. She was at her first duty station, where I met her, away from home for the first time, serving in the military and trying to make a life for herself. And then she got a call from her dad. Turns out her boyfriend and her mom had hooked up. She was devastated. Her parents divorced, and her mom kept going with the relationship. Total scumbag move. It messed my friend up. She didn't want to go home on leave because she was embarrassed, and her little brother had to witness all this. I think my friend's ex eventually married her mom. I've lost touch with my friend. I don't know if she ever forgave them or if they get along at all now. This was more than 20 years ago. I'm on mobile, so apologies for the formatting. I was at a friend's birthday party. My friend was in her mid-20s. I was 30. Her mom was in her early 50s. She and her mom took really good care of me after my father passed. They made sure I was eating and that I actually left the apartment every day, as I was prone to just sit around being a depressed sad sack. Friend's mom and I used to get stoned together. So when we were at her daughter's birthday party at her mom's house, she called me to her room so we could smoke a joint. She didn't want to do it in front of everyone, and it definitely wasn't the first time we'd gotten a little high together. So it was somewhat familiar territory. Maybe it was the weed, or the wine, or both. But as we're smoking and chatting, I just leaned in and kissed her. To my surprise, she kissed me back, and we proceeded to make out like a couple of horny teenagers on the love seat in her bedroom. She stopped for a moment, looked at me and said, "Well, had I known you were interested, we could have done this a long time ago." We made out a little more, and I told her that we should stop because we're going to get caught. So we kissed and groped one another a little more and returned to the party. The next day she stopped by my apartment to see how I was doing, which wasn't uncommon. That day was slightly different. She was always a very good looking woman, but that day she had more carefully applied makeup, some nice looking earrings and a blouse that showed off more cleavage than usual. I invited her in, and we were off to the races. We both had a great time. But I thought of my friend and said that we probably shouldn't do this again. She didn't really respond to it, and we continued to cuddle for a while. The next day she called me and said that she thought she may have lost her earring on my bed or my couch, which I thought was BS. But it turns out that the earring was indeed in between the cushions of my couch. She came over to retrieve it, and we went at it again. And again. And again. This went on for months, until I finally was moving out of state. It never happened again. We never spoke of it, and my friend never found out. Sadly, my friend's mom passed 5 years ago. I'd thought about telling her, but it just seemed like a bad idea. R.I.P. Julie. You were smoking hot and just an all-around great woman. Undefined. Oh. This became very sad. Maybe the only actually sweet story on here. P.S. Not telling her is most definitely the right move. Hey, her mom died. FYI, we banged a lot.